Hello there YouTube, and thanks very much for joining me. I'm Dean the Vaping Biker, and today we're going to be looking at an interesting little mod, shall we put it that way. This is the Ocular C from Joytech, and it's a big heavy monster of a thing with a big old touchscreen going on. Is it necessary? Is it really good and cool and funky? Well, let's have a little look. We'll go up close. Now I'll show you how to sort of quickly navigate through the menu system on the mod itself, and then we'll have a quick look at how the phone app works along with it, and once we've got that out of the way, I'll come back up top, tell you a few other bits and bobs about it, and give you my final thoughts. Right, so let's have a little vape first, shall we? There you go, wattage and vapor and things, right? So let's go up close and we'll check it out. Come on then. So here we are with the Ocular C. Now I'm going to take off this, turn that big light off up there in a little while so we can have a real good look at these things. But I just want to show you this with a reasonable amount of light on it. Now then, we've got the recessed 510 going on the top there. I've not had any connection with, or connection issues, should I say. So that's all been fine and dandy. And even though we are recessed here to the point of about a 22mm, I believe, obviously wider atomizers just sit on the top anyway. Yeah, we're looking at just around about 22-ish, just under. You'll see that I have got some scuffing on the front here, and that's from using much wider atomizers than a 22mm. So that's all we've got to worry about on that one. Nothing really to see on the top. This is the back, nothing going on there. We've got the fire button on one side, the screen and Ocular C on another. We've got the USB connection there, and we've got the auxiliary in for your headphones. So yeah, exciting times. Now at the bottom here, this is where we've got the battery door, which I think is awful. Trying to get this open is literally the hardest thing in the world. And it's not that I don't have any nails at all, but just because it's not a spring-loaded door, you can't get it open. Oh, there we go, we're open. So in there we do have the plus and the minus right at the bottom end of the battery tube there. So we'll stick our batteries in as they go. Now once this door is closed with batteries in, or by the way, there is a plus and a minus on the battery door as well. Once this is closed, then it is much easier to open, because obviously you've got the tension of the batteries to push it outwards. But without any batteries in, it's pretty awful, to be honest with you. Once it is all closed up, then we are feeling nice and solid. It is a good heavy mod, and it does really kind of you know you've got it in your hands, let's put it that way. I may not need to have to turn the light off up the top, so we'll see how we get on with that one. Now then, I'm going to try and quickly go through these. First of all, under camera here, this looks quite bright. In reality, it really isn't, and we'll see that this is with the screen kind of up to the max, but no, it's really not a bright screen at all, which is a bit of a shame when you're looking at it in some lights. Anyway, how do we get things going? Well, let's have a little look at the screen in itself. We've got a little padlock up the top here. In fact, what I might do is I might zoom in a wee bit so we can see it a little bit better. We've got a little padlock at the top here, which tells us that we are locked. So if you touch the screen anywhere, you do get this little lock symbol come up. Underneath there, we do have what mode we're in. We'll talk about that in a second. The plus and the minus, the puff counter, and all of the normal gubbins down the bottom there. And we'll look at all of this sort of stuff in a second. Now then, to navigate this, first of all, we have to move the sort of the locked padlock. You can relock it just by pressing the padlock in the top corner there, but we have to move this locked one to the unlocked status. You don't have to wait for that to come on, but you can just swish that across like so. Now then, to go through the different modes, what we're looking at is a little bit of a swipe, and there we are: TCR M3, M2, oops, M1, stainless steel, titanium, Ni200, and back into variable wattage mode. In fact, let me just take that off there, so that'll make things much easier to see. So yeah, so that's how you're going to swipe through your different modes. which is easy enough. However, I have found it to be a little bit dodgy at times, but at the moment it seems to be working all fine and dandy. So yeah, that's all going good guns. Now then, to up and down your wattage, obviously you're looking at pressing the up and down buttons here, which kind of is okay, but they're not, you know, unless you're doing really accurate presses. The amount of times I've accidentally pressed this puff counter one, which isn't doing anything, there we go, it's doing that, and it kept coming up with that. It was so annoying, but you know, there we go, these things happen. You can get to where you're going, but obviously when you're putting your finger on the screen, you kind of miss what you're doing actually on the screen to make that happen. Anyway, that's the general use of the variable wattage mode. Now then, and the way you use this with the up and down will work in exactly the same way when you've got the temp control going on, and if you want to increase or decrease your wattage, you can then hit the bottom corner there which had the wattage, so we can increase and decrease that. So 66 watts there, and a little fire button, and we're back into the temperature mode with 66 down here at the bottom corner. So yeah, so you can alter your wattage at the same time as altering your temperature as well, which I think is great. Now then, before we put the atomizer on there, other features on this one, if you swipe down, there we go, we've got vape information. So that just takes us straight back to whatever we're vaping. I'm just going to take this back to the variable wattage mode. We've got the step counter, which is just a hoot. Obviously you can tell that I don't use that. That's not likely to be something that I use this mod for at all. If we go back down to it, we've got music. Now I've not actually uploaded because I don't really have anything on my computer for music, so I use Spotify, but you can put some music on it. However, I'll talk about that when we go back up top. Photos, yes, you've got that. It comes preloaded with this random dude going on here, which, you know, super. I don't really know why I want a load of pictures of some dude like that. And a few, look at them, look, inspirational. There's a picture that I had taken, and there's my logo going on there, and a coil that I put on there. So yeah, I mean, you've got a whole bunch of pictures if you so want them. Now then, if we scroll down again, and once more, that takes us to the second lot. There we've got a calendar. You can store your contacts, and you've also got it says QR code, but the QR code isn't a button. I thought you'd press this and it'd make a much bigger QR code. As it is, it's so small your phone can't read it. So that's jolly annoying, and we'll come back to that in a little while as well. Now then, if we go into system, it does take us through a little bit of information there. We've got about, so we've got the hardware and software versions. And then we've got all of this kind of good stuff going on here as well. We can go into stealth mode if we so want to. We can set the date and the time. You can have displays. So here we've got the brightness, and you can see that that is absolutely maxed out at the moment. But you can reduce it as so. Giving us a swipe again. We've got a screensaver. If you can find it, there we go. And this is really difficult to see with regards to not in front of the camera at the moment. It's really quite dark. We've got the types. Come on. Turn everything on. Here we go with a. We can choose a photograph, or we can choose a clock, which is very exciting. Now then. I don't think I can force this screensaver coming on, but we'll leave that for a second, and I'll fast forward until that does come on of its own accord. And there we go. There is the screensaver of the analog clock that we chose, which, I mean, I think that does look pretty swish, to be honest with you. I think that does look quite cool. Is it necessary? Well, we'll talk about that when we go back up top. Anyway, going back into things like we were, unlock that bad boy, scroll down. Come on, next level, settings. And And yeah, and so we can do different wallpapers, different screensavers, all of that sort of good jazz. So you've got a whole bunch of fun that you can have with this if you really want to. But yeah, I mean, that's about it when it comes to the functionality of the mod itself. Right, so here we are to have a little look at the app, and I'll tell you about how we found the app in a little while. But if we click on the Joytech app on your phone, once it is installed, you then have to click on your Bluetooth symbol in the top corner there. It says that there's no device attached, so you hit the plus button in the top corner. Now here it looks as though it's searching forever and a day, but obviously where it's got that Ocular C there, that is the one that it's found, so that's fine and dandy. So you can click into that and everyone's a winner. You can see that the screensaver has come back onto this one over here. So if I just click the fire button for a second, you can see that we have got the 99.4 on the mod on the phone screen now. And if we can go back to that for a second, increase the wattage on the mod, that is going up on the phone as well. So basically you can do a lot of the controls on the phone app as you can on the mod itself. But a couple of fun things that you can do. I mean, obviously you've got access to things like your volume if you're using the music. You can use the brightness thing there, so you can control the brightness. A whole bunch of stuff as you would expect. But if we go up into that top right hand corner where you've got the three dots, click onto more. This then gives us a whole bunch of information, and it tells us the hardware, software versions, all of that sort of good stuff, Bluetooth and all that shit. Now, if I want to add a photo, all I've got to do is click onto the insert photo, choose to upload a photo from your device, and this then allows us to take a photo or to upload a photo that we've already got on our device. Now, these are a bunch of pics that I took earlier on today, so we'll use this top one here, and it will only allow you to use a certain size. So it comes up with the maximum size that you've got. Once you've chosen the frame as where you want it, you then click on done, and it goes through this really slow transfer process to get that photo on your phone. Now, it's much quicker if you want to transfer this via the computer rather than via Bluetooth, but you know, it gets that information there. Now, while that's happening, you'll see that we are getting a little bit of information coming through on the mod itself, because it's telling us that it is connected to the phone. So I'll fast forward through this just so we can get through this a little bit quicker. And there we go. So that now says that the file's been received, or that did pop up on the mod there, and we'll look at that in a second. Otherwise, you know, you've got a whole bunch of information that you can access if you so want to. If you're using things like the step counter, if you want to check on your puffs, if you want to give yourself challenges over the course of a day, you've got a whole bunch of information there that you can choose if you so wish. But as it's a mod, it's not something that's really kind of done anything that great for me, to be honest with you. Once you're in this stage of looking at kind of all of the info that the mod has recorded, by hitting the Bluetooth button, you go back to the original screen again. And I think pretty much that's it, to be honest with you. It's just a really sort of pretty easy mod to use, but it can be a little bit infuriating with this touchscreen. And as I say, I think I'll go into that a little bit more when we go back up top. But if we do want to see that amazing picture that I took earlier on, are we not in focus? Are we not in focus? There we go. Photos. It always comes up as Mr. Old Chappy there. Don't understand why that is. And that's the picture that we uploaded a little while ago. And even with most of the lights out, you can still see that that is pretty damn dark. Anyway, let's go up top, and we will have a little vape, to be honest with you, and I will give you my thoughts on how this bad boy performs. So that was the up close and personal with the Ocular C. Now you can see kind of in this kind of lighting, I mean obviously I've got lights going directly at me now, that you can see what's going on the touchscreen, but in kind of normal daylight and what have you, I do find that quite difficult. Now it might be a little bit lazy of me not to have put any music on it, however, from what I'm aware of, obviously from listening to from what other people are saying about it, that you can't vape and listen to music at the same time, and when you do vape, then it kind of resets the track, so to speak. Now, one of the things that is a little bit annoying is this wattage setting. We're there now. We're there. 99.9 watts. Right, let's have a vape, shall we? So it does perform. Is it kicking out exactly the full 150 watts that it says it has available? To be honest, I'm not the one that can answer that question. That's a Mr. Bisardo or DJ LSB job, that one. But it certainly does seem to put out a fair amount. I've not had any issues where I've thought it's really, really underperforming. Now, let's have a little look at the mod itself. Now, the mod itself is super heavy. It's really heavy. It does feel pretty reasonable in the hand though, if you don't mind a heavy mod. Oh, what can I say? The button is clicky, so it does, you know, that's nice. It performs pretty much straight away, or it starts firing pretty much straight away. There isn't really that much of a delay once you've hit that fire button. Do I like using it? No, I don't really, to be honest. If you're sort of delicate with it around this whole touchscreen area, then it's not too bad. But on more than one occasion, I've kind of found myself where I've unlocked it and then I've accidentally swiped it into TCR mode. And that's annoying, because you go to take a vape and you think, well, that's gone wrong. Or it doesn't fire because you've got your finger on the screen and it's done something a little bit funky. So, it's not something that's easy to replicate because it doesn't happen all the time. I mean, it's a reasonable touchscreen. It's not a bad touchscreen, but I've just not been a huge fan using it, to be honest with you, because it does seem to do just little funky things now and then when I least expect it to, which is a little bit frustrating. Now, obviously, if you do remember to make sure that you click the padlock every time you've unlocked it, then that does help to some degree. But yeah, I mean, I'd literally just, oh, fuck me. Now, what just happened then was I pressed the lock button. Okay, so I locked it in that top corner. I went to unlock it, and then it just randomly went to nickel mode. Why did it go into nickel mode? It's not even easy to go into nickel. Oh, fuck me. There we go, back to variable wattage mode. So, and then I tried to sort of flick it to go back into variable wattage mode, and then I got the puff counter. So, it is finicky. I think it works, but it's just a little bit wobbly and a little bit too sensitive maybe about the way that it goes around doing that. So, yeah, for me, the touchscreen is a little bit of a fail, in all honesty. Now, the other thing is, do we need a touchscreen? Do we need your calendar and your contacts and all that sort of stuff on your mod? Well, I don't think you need contacts. Your calendar, maybe, possibly. But I don't think we certainly don't need a step counter on a mod, as far as I can tell. Now, one of the things that I thought about, because I'm being all over the place today, I know, I'm sorry. But one of the things I was thinking about is, okay, we've got this technology available to us now. Now, while there's a bunch of stuff on here that we don't need, is there stuff on here that we could utilise? And I was having a little think. Now, I don't have a smartwatch. However, from what I'm kind of aware of when it comes to what smartwatches do, some more of that information, maybe having your mod be able to tell you, because your phone can be in your pocket. Your mod could be able to tell you when you're getting a phone call, or when you're getting a text message, or when you're getting a Facebook alert, that kind of thing. That, I think, would be way more useful than having contacts and a step counter on a mod, because I don't see the point in that whatsoever, to be honest with you. So yeah, if we're going to use this level of technology, then I would go for something more along the lines of the sort of the smartwatchy side of things when it comes to things like having that connectivity with your phone, to be able to tell you exactly what's going on, getting those push notifications. I think that would be reasonably helpful, actually, because your phone can be in your pocket, but 9 times out of 10 your mod is out in front. So I think that would be quite useful. I like the fact that you can put your own pictures on. Now then, cost-wise, I know, I'm being flaky as fuck today, I do apologise. Cost-wise, on the Joytech website, Joytech did send me this one directly, it's £89.99 in pounds, although it is out of stock at the moment. Shall we have a little quick look? What we got time-wise? We've got a load of time. Let's have a little look and see what it's going for in the shops, shall we? Ocular C, Joytech Ocular C. Tools, any country, in the UK. Totally wicked, £89.99 out of stock. What's this? Vape Shop Brighton, £89. Looks like those guys have it in stock. Never used them, don't know anything about them. Looks like they've ripped all of the pictures and stuff from the Joytech website rather than putting their own on the website. But vapeshopbrighton.co.uk does appear to have it in silver at the very least. So, you know, an 89 quid. 89 quid for a dual battery 150 watt box mod is pretty nice. If you like the idea of I say it's pretty nice with all the techno stuff, because obviously we can use a whole bunch of kind of, you know, Joytech, Wismec kind of products, and if you want to go to the 2-3 and all that sort of malarkey, there's a whole bunch there. But if you want this extra level of technology, if you think that having the touchscreen is quite cool, if you like the idea of putting your photos on there, then yeah, sure, why not? Why not? Do I think that in this current form it's necessary? No, I don't think it is. But it could be a cool way forward, like I say, if we have it adapted to more useful kind of applications on the mod itself. Now then, on top of there at the moment, I do have the big old 30mm Aromamizer Supreme. Aromamizer Plus, and you can see that we have only a tiny amount of overhang on the front of the mod there. Nothing too massive there. So, you know, all in all, I can't tell you to go out and buy it because I think there is a bunch of stuff on it that's not necessary. But it's a little bit of fun. It's a little bit cool. It's a little bit, you know, it's chunky. It's heavy. If someone breaks in your house, you lob this at their nut, and that'll take them down. But all in all, ladies and gentlemen, this one gets an entirely average review from me because I think that it could do some cool stuff. It just doesn't quite hit all of those spots quite yet. However, as a mod, it does seem to work adequately well. So, you know, there we go. That's all I've got to say about it, guys. But thank you very much for watching. I've been Dean the Vaping Biker. This has been the Joytech Ocular C, the big heavy mod that does a whole bunch of stuff you really don't need. Anyway, I'll see you on the next one. Go out and have it very large.